All right, stat students, we are going to cover our new topic here, which is data displays for quantitative variables. And we're going to get the mean, median, mode, and range from a dot plot. So if we scroll down to where we have to start working, we'll see our first question here. And this example, so I'm going to go over this example so you can see how to answer these things. I'm posting the answer there, but you can start to listen to this explanation and understand what's going on here. So there's a couple things that are happening. One is, how are the dots being displayed? Well, if I look at this number line and I see 0 here, right? This class is essentially telling me that there are, in this set of data, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros in this data set. So if I look at this, I'm looking at 6 zeros, so I'm doing 6 times 0, right? In the next group, there's 2 ones, okay? So 1, 2, and there's 2 ones. So I'm doing 2 times 1. And then, you know, for each number, I'm counting how many there are. So how many 2s are there? There's 3 2s. How many 4s? There are 2 4s. I skipped the 3s. There's 5 3s. There's 5 5s. No 6s or 7s, right? Over to the 8s. There's 2 8s, 3 9s, 7 10s. There's 4 11s, and there's a hole here, which is 1 of 12, okay? So this calculation, I'm going to actually use my calculator to calculate all of that. So if I were to put all those in the calculator, you would see the sum is 225, okay? So that's this section here. This part is 225. And why am I dividing by 40? Well, if I counted up how many dots there were in this graph, there's 40 total dots, right? I could count the 6, the 2, the 3, the 5, the 2, you know, that's how many there are. That's what the n is. And if I came back up here, the shortcut to that would be shown to me here. How many total people there are. They told me that there's 40. So that tells me now that I'm ready to go with 40 being the denominator for finding the mean. Okay. And then I do the 225 divided by 40, and I get my answer of 5.6. Done. All right. So that's mean. Let's talk about median. Now, if we remember what the median is, it's the middle number, right? Sometimes it happens where there's more than one. So the median here, class, could happen in more than one number. But we're looking for the middle. And normally when you would do this, right, if you looked at the example here, if I normally would calculate the median, that technique that you're probably used to is put the numbers in order and then start to cancel out from the ends to get to the middle. See how I have 3 slashes on one side and 3 on the other? What happens is we end up at 5 here in the middle, okay? In a dot plot, it's all in order as well. However, we have dots kind of all over the place. So let's take a look at how do we go about getting the median. Now there's a shortcut, right? If the median's the middle number, how many numbers do I have? I have 40. So I can divide that in half. I add 1 for the middle number, and then I can count up that amount of dots until I get to the 20th and 21st person. So that's a shortcut. But in a dot plot, you can continue to do your, method of canceling out on both sides if you don't want to do that. So what could I do here? Well, let's take a look, right? If I cancel one dot in the first group, I would go to the other side and cancel the other, right? One, right? And you could keep doing that until you got to the middle. When there's a lot of dots, however, you have to really do a good job of keeping track, right? How many slashes do I have on the left so far? There's 6, right? And I have 6 on this side now too. Okay, so we can keep going, right? Until you get to the middle. All right, it can take a little bit longer, and that's okay. Also with a dot plot, if we think about what's on what side, oops, you could end up in 2 dots, right? And in that case, you're absolutely just looking at the number when you hit this dot. If this is the middle dot here, or the middle 2 dots, which number does that fall on? In this case, it falls to the 5. And so your answer is 5. Okay. Mode in a dot plot is a lot easier. So let's go through and take a look at mode. All right. Mode in this case happens the most. So when we look at this group, I'm looking for the tallest column essentially, right? How many have the most dots? In this case, 10 comes up with the most. There are 7 dots for 10, meaning there's 7 tens. Okay? And that's how you get the answer for mode being 10. All right? So that's pretty straightforward. You could have, if like 0 had 7 dots as well, I could say that that's also the mode. But in this case, 0 had 6 dots. So you can pay attention to that. All right? So that's mode. Now let's talk about range. All right? Range is the biggest number minus the smallest number. So what's the biggest number in this group? You go to the right side of the number line. I do have a dot here for 12. So that means that the biggest number for range is 12. All right, and then I can go to the left side to look for the smallest number. The first dots I have on the left side are 0, right? So that's the smallest number. So I do 12 minus 0, and you get your answer of 12 for range every time. Okay?